Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling YouTube success. What really makes a channel take off? Our source, a podcast from SocialWick, a service that helps creators boost their channels. Now, obviously, they've got a dog in this fight. But that actually makes it more interesting. We get to see what they're emphasizing, what tactics they think work.
Yeah, it's like a peek behind the curtain, right? We can analyze their claims, see how they align with YouTube's algorithms, and what actually matters to viewers.
Okay, so SocialWick throws around the usual suspects, subscribers, views, but they also highlight some metrics that might surprise you, like watch time and premiere waiting views.
Those are interesting. YouTube's algorithm, it's not just about raw numbers, it's looking for engagement and watch time. That's a big signal.
Right, makes sense. If people are clicking away after a few seconds, YouTube's going to notice.
Exactly. High watch time tells the algorithm, hey, this content is good, keep showing it to people.
So it's not enough to just get the click. You got to make them stick around.
You got it. And that can boost your ranking, get you featured in those suggested videos. That's how you reach a wider audience organically.
Now, what about premiere waiting views? Seems kind of counterintuitive. Why would the number of people hanging out before the video starts even matter?
Oh, it matters. SocialWick's point is that it creates anticipation, hype. Like imagine a big concert, the crowd's gathering before the show starts. The bigger the crowd, the more exciting it feels.
I get it. It builds buzz, makes it feel like an event.
Exactly. That buzz can translate into more views and engagement right from the start.
So they're saying creating that sense of anticipation actually leads to better results.
That's their argument, yeah.
Fascinating. They also talk about boosting all sorts of metrics, getting you real and active subscribers. What does that even mean? How do they actually do that?
Well, they're a bit vague on the details, but it sounds like a mix of strategies. Some more ethical than others, probably.
Okay, like what? Give us some examples.
So targeted ad campaigns can be totally legitimate.
Sure.
Reaching viewers who are actually interested in your niche, like placing a well-designed billboard in just the right spot.
Okay, strategic marketing 101. What else?
They also mention fostering organic growth, which in theory means optimizing your channel for search, using the right keywords, engaging with other creators in your space.
So are they just repackaging best practices?
In a way, yeah, maybe amplifying them.
But where does it get murky?
That's the tricky part. Some services, they resort to black hat tactics. Buying fake subscribers or views. Might give you a temporary bump, but it's not sustainable. Could even get your channel penalized by YouTube.
Like building a house of cards.
Exactly.
Looks impressive at first, but it's going to collapse eventually. And you mentioned YouTube cracking down on that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Their algorithm is constantly evolving. They're getting better at detecting and penalizing those manipulative tactics. So even if you game the system for a bit, you're playing a dangerous game.
Right. Consequences could be severe, lower rankings, even a complete channel suspension. Yikes. So it seems there's a right way and a very wrong way to go about boosting a channel. But let's step back for a second. Beyond all the metrics and algorithms, what really makes a YouTube channel successful in the long run? SocialWick kind of glossed over that part, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And it's a crucial point. The foundation of any successful channel, high-quality content that people actually want to watch.
Right. You can have all the tricks in the world, but if your videos are boring, no one's going to stick around.
Exactly. It all comes back to that watch time we were talking about.
Makes sense.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers game, but ultimately, you got to create something people enjoy. Could be educational, could be hilarious, could be anything, as long as it connects with your audience.
So finding your niche, finding your voice, that's key.
Absolutely. What makes your channel stand out? Yeah. What unique value do you bring?
Okay, so you figured that out. Now, how do you actually get people to see your videos?
That's where a combination of strategies comes in. Think of it like a puzzle. Each piece contributes to the bigger picture. Optimizing your videos for search is huge EE. You got to think like your viewers. What keywords are they using to find content like yours?
Right, so it's not just about making great content, it's about making sure it's discoverable.
Exactly. And that goes beyond YouTube itself. Promote your videos on social media, collaborate with other creators, get creative with expanding your reach.
So think bigger picture. YouTube's just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
And then there's the community aspect. SocialWick was big on that.
They were.
All those engagement metrics, comments, likes, shares. They even offer services to increase those things. But as we discussed, That can be a slippery slope.
Very slippery. It comes down to the quality of those interactions. Tons of generic comments, not really adding any value. What you want are thoughtful comments, questions, discussions, a real sense of community.
Right, a space where people feel connected, not just bombarded with empty numbers.
Yeah.
But how do you encourage that kind of authentic engagement?
It starts with the content itself. Ask questions in your videos, respond to comments thoughtfully, make people feel heard and valued.
So it's more about building relationships than racking up stats.
That's it in a nutshell. True YouTube success isn't about manipulating algorithms or inflating metrics. It's about creating meaningful content and connecting with your audience.
Okay, so we've talked about the metrics, the tactics, the importance of authenticity. But what does all this mean for the average viewer? The person who's not trying to become a YouTube star?
That's a great point. It highlights why media literacy is so important today. Even if you're not a creator, understanding these dynamics can make you a more savvy consumer of content.
So next time you see a video with millions of views, don't just take it at face value.
Right. Look closer, check the comments, think about the watch time. Is this content really resonating? Or is something else going on?
Be a savvy viewer, understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. The more aware you are, the better choices you can make about the content you consume and support.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. But before we move on, there's one more thing SocialWick mentions. Their track record.
Right. They're proud of their experience. Helping over 1 million customers, they say.
It sounds impressive.
Yeah.
But it also raises some questions. Like, what kind of results did those customers actually see? Were they sustainable? Or did they just experience that sugar rush and crash we talked about?
Those are all valid questions. Ultimately, it comes down to individual values and goals. Before you jump into using ANY service like SocialWick, do your research. Make sure their approach aligns with your vision.
Weigh the risks and rewards.
Exactly. And remember, there's no substitute for genuine effort. And a deep understanding of what makes your content truly valuable.
Okay, we've explored the metrics, the tactics, the importance of authenticity. We've also talked about being a more aware and discerning viewer. But before we dive into the next part of our deep dive, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on services like SocialWick? Do they have a place in the YouTube landscape? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'll be back soon to continue our exploration.
You know, it's funny. SocialWick keeps talking about gaming the algorithm like it's some kind of battle. But I think it's important to remember the algorithm is ultimately there to find good content. Content that keeps people watching.
Right, like we were saying before, watch time, genuine engagement, those are the things that matter.
Exactly. You can't fake that stuff forever. SocialWick talks about boosting subscriber numbers, but they never really say how W, do they?
It is kind of mysterious. They mention targeted ad campaigns, which you said can be legit, but what does that even look like for YouTube?
Well, imagine you have a channel about, let's say, learning guitar. A targeted ad campaign would show your videos to people who like music, people who are interested in instruments, maybe even specific guitar brands.
So you're basically putting your content in front of people who are already kind of primed to be interested.
Exactly. Reaching the right audience, not just any audience. And when it's done ethically, it can be a really effective way to grow.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about this fostering organic growth thing they keep saying? How do they actually do that?
Well, in theory, it's about optimizing your channel for search, using the right keywords, building relationships with other creators in your niche.
So kind of like SEO and good old-fashioned networking combined?
Yeah, exactly. Making your channel attractive to both the algorithm and real people.
Sounds like work. No magic button here, right?
Definitely not. Building a successful YouTube channel takes dedication, consistency, a willingness to learn and adapt.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about SocialWick's approach, but let's zoom out a bit. If you had to boil down the key ingredients of YouTube success, what would they be?
Good question. I'd say it comes down to 3 main things: compelling content, smart optimization, and genuine community engagement.
Okay, let's break those down. We've touched on content already, but what makes content truly compelling? Why is it so important?
Content is king because it's the reason people go to YouTube in the first place. They're looking for something that informs them, entertains them, inspires them, something that makes them feel something. Compelling content grabs their attention, keeps them engaged. It leaves them wanting more.
It's about creating something that resonates, something that connects with people on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And that connection can come from all sorts of things: humor, education, storytelling, even just a shared passion for a topic.
So you got to find that sweet spot where your passion meets your audience's interests.
Exactly. And that brings us to optimization. You can have the most amazing content in the world, but if people can't find it, it doesn't matter.
It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the forest.
Haha, exactly. Optimization is about making sure your content is visible, discoverable, both within YouTube and outside of it. Using the right keywords, promoting your videos on social media, all of that.
So understanding how the algorithm works and using that knowledge ethically.
Yes, working with the system, not against it.
Okay, and lastly, community engagement. Why is that so important?
Building a community around your channel is crucial. It creates a sense of connection, loyalty. These are the people who will not only watch your videos, but they'll share them, comment on them. They become advocates for your brand.
More than just viewers, they become fans.
Exactly. And nurturing that community takes effort. Responding to comments, asking questions, creating a space where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts.
Those genuine interactions we talked about.
Yes. Building relationships, not just collecting views.
This all sounds like a lot of work. Creating content, optimizing, building community.
It is. But it can be incredibly rewarding when you connect with an audience that truly values your work. It creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment. It goes way beyond just numbers.
Making a real impact.
Exactly. And that's the most satisfying kind of success, I think.
You know, we've been talking about content, optimization, community, but they're all connected, aren't they? It's not just about doing one thing well. It's about finding the synergy between all three.
Absolutely. They work together to create this positive feedback loop. Compelling content brings people in, optimization helps them find you, community engagement keeps them coming back.
It's a holistic approach, not just a checklist.
You got it. And it's an ongoing process. YouTube is always changing, so you have to be willing to adapt, experiment, learn new things.
Like you said, it's a marathon, but it sounds like a marathon that can be really rewarding if you approach it the right way.
It definitely can be. And remember, there's no single formula for success. What works for one creator might not work for another. It's about finding your own path and staying true to your vision.
I love that. And I think that's a great place to leave this part of our deep dive. We've talked about the strategies, the challenges, the rewards of building a YouTube channel, but the journey isn't over. In our final part, we'll explore how to navigate this constantly changing landscape with integrity and authenticity, so stay tuned. And we're back for the final part of our YouTube deep dive. We've been talking about what it takes to succeed on the platform, the strategies, the challenges, the allure of shortcuts.
Yeah, those services that promise to boost your channel in a flash.
Like SocialWick, right.
Exactly.
But as we've seen, there's a lot to think about before you go down that road.
Definitely. It's about finding the right balance between using smart tactics and staying true to that core idea of creating genuine content.
Content that people actually want to watch.
Right, because ultimately YouTube is all about connection and sharing. You can't really manufacture that.
So as we wrap up, I'm curious, what happens if more and more creators start relying on these shortcuts, these manipulative tactics? Could it actually hurt YouTube as a whole?
If authenticity becomes less common, viewers might start to lose trust in the platform, in the creators they follow.
It's like anything else, right? If you flood the market with low-quality stuff, people get skeptical.
Exactly. That's why it's so important for creators to prioritize genuine engagement, build that trust with their audience.
So how do you walk that line? How do you use the tools available without, selling your soul?
Well, I think transparency is a big part of it. If you're using any services to help boost your channel, be upfront with your viewers.
Don't pretend those bot subscribers are organic.
Exactly. Honesty and authenticity are key. And remember, there are plenty of ethical ways to promote your channel.
Like the targeted ads and strategic optimization we talked about.
Exactly. Focus on reaching the right people with good content. Let the growth happen naturally.
This whole conversation has really highlighted the importance of being a smart viewer, too.
Absolutely. Don't just take everything at face value. Look beyond the surface. Question those inflated metrics. Seek out content that feels real, that feels engaging.
So it's a two-way street. Creators need to be authentic, and viewers need to be critical, thoughtful.
Exactly. When both sides do their part, the whole YouTube ecosystem benefits.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
That's a tough one. I think it boils down to this. In a world obsessed with algorithms and numbers, remember that YouTube is ultimately about human connection. Whether you're making videos or watching them, prioritize authenticity. Build trust. Focus on creating and consuming content that truly matters.
That's a great way to put it. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of YouTube. We've covered a lot of ground, the strategies, the challenges, the importance of staying true to yourself. And we hope this deep dive has given you the tools and insights to navigate this ever-changing landscape with confidence and integrity. Until next time, keep creating, keep learning, and keep connecting.